Greetings from paradise. Welcome to the Enjoy the Journey Luxury Travel Show live from the beautiful Florida Keys. A special welcome to our live streaming viewers, podcast partners, and listeners around the world. I'm your host, David Hartman, owner of Fantastic Endeavors Travel Agency. I'm the travel agent that always asks my clients two questions. What is your bucket list trip? And where do you wish you were right now? I wish you were here with me in the Florida Keys. We're here at the home studio again, here at Club Dave in Key Largo, Florida. I'm staring out now, my new setup at a beautiful mangrove forest at John Pennekamp State Park. It is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in the Keys, and I appreciate you spending some time with me here on my luxury travel show. It's a cruise travel update, and special guest Skip Shear is going to be on again, talk about cruise travel since he's part of my agency now, and to talk about a podcast he's launching soon. As always, like this and share it, and wherever you are following it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fantastic Endeavors, because you'll get notifications whenever we go live or whenever we upload great video content. And always put a question in the chat. We have a way to show questions now in our live feed, and we're going to do that soon during the show. And put a question wherever you're watching the show, either YouTube or Facebook Live. Please do that, and we're going to have a good time. Today, it's all about cruise travel and where can we cruise, where we're going to cruise. I'm going to show you a world travel update after I introduce Skip Shear, talk about him real quick. And I had international travel last week. Then I found an amazing interactive map by Iberia Airlines I'd want to share with you. And I really want to tell you all about what's going to happen in travel. Everyone's asking me about cruises. And I have some good news about cruising too. Some positive things happened this week that I really want to get into and talk about the future of cruising, end of 2021 and next year. Some really good things happening. Speaking of cruising, I want to thank my marquee sponsor, Atlas Ocean Voyages. They are Lux Expeditions, a new cruise line launching in July 2021 with the World Navigator, just one ship, soon to have 5 ships in by 2023, but just one ship to start. And I am hosting and sailing on the Navigator for my Arctic Solar Eclipse Cruise. November 28th, December 10th, 2021. Please join me on that trip. Discount rate still available for my group, cheaper than online that we can buy published. Go to bucketwishtrip.com, my website, and click on the World Navigator icon there, and you'll see all the details about that cruise and our exclusive pricing just for my group. And I do want to say a quick shout out to our Atlas Ocean Voyages team. We've had 4 different members of the sales team on the show, and we put together this quick 30-second spot for them to promote themselves in the show. And we'll be right back after our ad. Atlas Ocean Voyages offers smaller ships designed for luxe expeditions that extend the reach of adventure travel by sea, with their first ship launching in July 2021. Venture to small villages and remote locations, from the desert city of Petra to the frozen tundra of Antarctica. To experience Atlas Ocean Voyages, call David Hartman, 305-453-9208, Dave at bucketwishtrip.com. Hey, we're back live. Thank you for joining me today Sunday afternoon. There's some great football games on today. Tom Brady's having a great game, I noticed, and I'll be watching the game. We'll keep this show concise and short. I appreciate you joining me. Sherry Bars Langston is already on the chat. Fantastic, Sherry. If you got a question, put it on the chat. And we have a way now to show your questions. We're going to screen questions. Our producer Bonnie here is doing a great job. Going to show questions, and we're going to show them actually in our feed because we have this amazing new studio system that we're improving each week. We had some glitches last week. We took out some of the bells and whistles, and now we got it working. Next, I want to introduce our guest again, and always here to have a good time. Let me change my backdrop to fit Skip in the screen here. Via Zoom technology, of course. All right, let's get him on over. Skip, can you hear us okay?
Yes, always having a good time. Yes, that's me.
Always having a good time. Hey, Skip.
How are you? That Alaskan cruise looks really exciting.
Antarctic cruise.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, that one even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's a once in a lifetime journey that it's just doesn't happen very often. That you can especially get to see a solar eclipse and that beautiful setting.
I haven't led a trip in a very long time where I went on and promoted it's called a set date departure. I'm more about planning other people's departures or promoting custom travel for some other people. But I saw this, you can't put it off till next year. You can't put it off for 10 years. It's a once in every 400 year event. I just had to do it. So, this is to me a very, very special occasion to do this cruise. And I'm looking forward to it. Hope you can join me, Skip. I already got my friend Everett, who's a big follower of the show. And love to have you on board.
I love cruises. I'll tell you, the thing that I love about cruises is that once you get on the ship, you unpack your bags, and every morning you're in a different place. And of course, I love the food on board. Especially lobster night. That's my favorite night. So if they could have lobster night every night, I would live on a cruise ship.
I have friends who have lived on a cruise ship. They worked on cruise ships, and they said it was fun. They said, you get time off and you get to kind of go out and see things, but it's a lot of work. 6-month contracts are normally 6 months straight. It's unbelievable. Already, we're showing off our new chat box, Skip, our new chat box. And from Sherry Byers Langston says, "Hey, where can I go? I need a cruise vacation."
Well, the nice thing is, and I think you're about to talk about it, is cruise vacations are starting to pop up on the schedules. And I know Disney has some. They've announced some dates. This is exciting. I think people are really starting to jockey for positions to get on these first cruise ships. I know that they're doing, they're announcing safety precautions once they do get back into business, which is I know that Disney's already planned some on the Pacific, on the West Coast.
They have. One of our announcements we're going to talk about today is that Disney Cruise Line has their own cruise line, and then Adventure by Disney, of all things, has partnered with a different cruise line. Adventure by Disney is their touring company, so we're going to talk about that today. But first off, we're ahead of ourselves. Skip, you were on last week. You've been on my show, on the famous intergalactic show from a galaxy far, far away in Batu. But tell people about yourself real quick and why you're here today talking travel.
Well, all my life I've worked in radio out of ever since college at VCU in Richmond, Virginia. And so I worked in radio. So I was a morning show co-host for 10, 15 years at Q94 in Richmond, Virginia. Then
nice.
I was in Greensboro, North Carolina at 98.7 Simon. I was the morning show co-host for that for 10 years. And also I've been doing promotions and marketings where I've been setting up events and putting those together. So, events, traveling is part of my wheelhouse. I love traveling. Dave, you and I talked about the times that I get to go on these press junkets for Disney, which, by the way,
nice.
Is amazing. We get to meet so many celebrities, and not only that, but they feed you every step of the way. And we're doing a grand opening usually for something special like Mission Space, as well as Disney's PhilharMagic. I got to attend. So a lot of exciting stuff that what they do is with the press junkets. And I really fallen in love with Disney ever since I was a kid. And, I seem to, I love anything Disney, especially all the parks. My favorites, actually, the resorts. I like the resorts more than I do the parks because I just love the opportunity to be able to go to a real resort where you feel like you've traveled a million miles away, but you're so close to all the fun and excitement.
Yeah, and the idea with Disney is there's different price points. You can stay really close to theme parks and pay more, or stay a little farther away and use their busing or their now gondola system to get to a theme park. It's a great brand. It's a great brand.
I'll tell you, my favorite unsung hero of resorts at Disney is Coronado Springs. It's a great price point. You do have to take a bus to get there, but I love the new setup and the new towers that they have.
Oh yeah,
and the restaurant
Grand Destino. Grand Destino.
And that it's just it was I thought very comparable to like Caribbean Beach, but maybe a step below it. But now I think it's a step above. I think it's between Caribbean Beach and your Polynesian, just because of the added values that they've put up there with the tower and the restaurants, and of course that fantastic bar restaurant that they have in the middle of the lake there. I can't remember the name of that, but that's also where the Los Angeles Lakers celebrated their
Three Bridges,
their victory.
Three Bridges Bar and Grill. Love that place. Now, we're kind of getting off on the Walt Disney World. This is a great product. I do want to focus on the cruise side. But one thing about my international travel update is that, hey, on domestic side, since you can't leave the country right now, to very few places that we're going to show on a map in a minute. Disney World is a great place to go because Florida's been wide open since October, and Disney has done an amazing job of reopening. It's now going on 8-9 months, and there's no instances whatsoever, any problems at all, and because people behave and use their mask and social distance. So it is a great vacation that I can help you with, or Skip can help you with. Skip is now soon to be a certified Disney vacation planner, almost finished his training. And so if you're followers of Skip's watching today's show, please contact him. If you follow me, please contact me for any vacation needs. So while you're on, Skip, before I forget, how do people reach out to you if they're one of your followers or one of your big fans that want to plan travel?
Well, right now you can give me a call on my cell. It's 804-869-0184. Or you can hit me up on social media, Facebook, at Skip the Prize Guy, all one word, or on Instagram, which is Disney Skip. That's my little handle.
Disney Skip,
so
okay.
You can hit me up on that. And you also were teasing real quick before I go. We were talking about a new podcast. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to hold on to that?
Yeah, go ahead now, and then we'll leave you talking about Adventures by Disney, the full partnership, and then we'll head on and I'll go into my cruise travel update.
Sounds good. So we have a new podcast that's coming up. It's in kind of a development stage. We have a little we had a planned rehearsal today, which I thought went really well.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's called Drinking in the Park.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
And so it's about adventures of drinking in the Disney parks, and also just all the new stuff that's on tap at all the bars and restaurants that are in the Disney Springs and the resorts, as well as the parks as well.
I love it. I actually didn't know you were up to until I got tagged in an Instagram, and then I was like, "Well, what's this? That's a neat Instagram," and I like, "Hey, that's Skip. He didn't tell me about this."
Well, it's great because especially Epcot, that's a giant bar crawl, so you can no passport required while drinking around the countries.
No passport at all required, which is fantastic, especially during the many festivals at Epcot, which we talked about during the show. So check out Chip's podcast, soon to be live on all podcast networks very soon, right, Skip?
Absolutely.
No, that's awesome. Excellent. Well, listen, to start our cruise travel update, I want to start with some positive news, and that is Adventures by Disney, which is Disney's touring company for about 12 years now, is partnered with Ponant Luxury Yacht Expeditions, their expedition fleet, to do Antarctica and Galapagos Islands. And I think it's a phenomenal product. I mean, high price point. The Galapagos is much cheaper than Antarctica because of the access and the length of the cruise. But Adventure by Disney is known for the Disney customer service for a land tour vacation. And I really think that this is going to be a phenomenal combination. There are set dates in 2021. You can check out a post on my Dave's Disney Facebook page like that and look at the recent post I made and the article about it from CNBC talked about pricing. CNBC had a great article that summarized all that. And so if you have any questions about the cruise, please put it in the chat and I'll try to answer them right now. But I think it's Disney's very particular who they partner with. And I think it's important to realize that Ponant is a great yacht company. It's not has been made enough about Ponant and what they're doing and what type of cruise line they are. They are an established yacht cruise line. I mean, like max 90 to 120 people. These are small, intimate vacations. High price point, luxury product, but man, everything's inclusive and they're phenomenal. And this is going to be designed for a somewhat family-friendly trip. Your kids have to be a certain age for the Antarctica cruise. But something to check out and something you can reach Skip and I at. Skip got his contact information. Mine's listed right above me here, 305-453-9208 or dave@bucketwishtrip.com. If you hear me say dave@davesdisney.com, I own that domain too, so either one gets to me. Love to help you guys out. So Skip, what do you think of Adventures by Disney? And now that you've done your training and you know more about them, and what do you think of them partnering with a existing luxury yacht line not owned by Disney?
Well, I'll tell you, I've fallen in love with their products. I have not been able to go on an Adventures by Disney, but the fact that they're able to do these VIP events. It's so difficult, especially when you travel to a foreign country you've never been to. You really don't know where to start, and I would hate to travel to a foreign land and then find out that once I'm there, that I don't know. I'd be afraid I'd miss something.
Sure.
So that's why it's so exciting to do the Adventures by Disney, because number one, you're going to get that VIP service. You're going to get that service that only Disney can provide, and they have local guides as well as uh, your uh, your Disney guide as well. So so exciting, and the fact that you can get all this VIP access that you just can't get anywhere else because it's Disney is a great way to do it.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. I think you called it, is that exotic vacations, and the Adventure by Disney piece will be on land with them, but they'll have some presence on the boat too. And the idea is that you get the two great companies working together to see somewhere very exotic. I'm excited about it. I'm glad you are too, Skip.
Yeah, very exciting, and this is a once in a lifetime trip that people get to take. You never get to really, I've never been to the Galapagos Islands. Can't even pronounce it, but just to me, that's a lifetime trip right there.
Oh, exactly, exactly. There are very few places I haven't been, but Galapagos and Antarctica are definitely two of them that are on my list. Antarctica, I'm already scheduled. I'm going November 28th. But Galapagos, I'm like, let me take you to those Adventures by Disney cruises. I think it's, Disney did this with Adventure by Disney and Ammo Waterways for river cruises. They're already touring all over Europe. This one is making them venture. They're expanding their touring product and expanding their partnership with cruise lines. So I appreciate them in this time of questionable travel. What I mean is, can I travel? That Disney is pushing forward with some new products. When that announcement came out, I posted as soon as I found it. And I was like, hey, Skip, check out this cruise. And so I'm excited about it. Awesome. Skip, listen, great to have you on today. Going to let you go, and looking forward to being on your podcast again. We'll have you on again to talk travel in a few weeks.
Absolutely, love to hear it, and good luck. Thanks.
Thanks, Skip. All right, gonna let Skip go and shut down Zoom. I believe we're not cut off today, but we had some choppiness in the feed. I am gonna move to a different meeting program. Zoom tests well, and then it doesn't work well when you actually go in person. And let me go back to my main feed. There we go. Make sure Zoom is closed down. Don't need that robbing resource anymore. I got a really good computer I run the system from. Sherry Barry Langston, great question, great question. We're going to show Sherry's question in a second here. Our producer, Bonnie, will put the question here in the chat bot. By the way, I've been playing with my different camera feeds, and I'm going to show you I have different angles here real quick. So Sherry had a question about the Antarctica cruise for Adventures by Disney. And we'll go slow for a little bit and let my resources catch up, because the Zoom feed was just killing it. Yeah, we had a lot of skip frames, but at least we weren't shut down like last week. Last week I was running too many programs. I was running some crazy video screen backdrop, which I never got to show you. So we got different feeds. When I go to chat, I try to go this feed to my right. I also have a different center feed we're playing with, and hope you guys enjoy them all. And Bonnie, Sherry had a question. If you could put that in the chat box, please. So it's on Facebook. If you could copy that over, it'd be awesome. Sherry will answer the question. I'm going to switch to something real quick. Let's see. And show you guys a world travel update. To cover my topic last week, hey, Dave's in the world. Hey. Got the whole world in my hand. Got the whole world in my hand. Going to show you guys this amazing, let me get myself out of here. Stay tuned as we talk about the world. All right, there we go. So this is a great map I found. It's Iberia Airlines, Iberia.com. They're an airline from Iberia Peninsula, the Spanish airline, and they serve that area. I fly clients a lot on them to go to Europe. And with Iberia, they created this map, and the sad part is the blue, Mexico, Jamaica, and Costa Rica, are the only countries open without any restrictions. So that's unfortunate. The yellow is travel to with some restrictions, but maybe mostly testing protocols, maybe quarantining. And then the dark gray is restricted entry, and then the other ones are just not available at all, or we're not providing data to Iberia. So that's the essence of our show last week, was where can we travel? If you want to travel now or in the near future, please check out Mexico, Jamaica, or Costa Rica. So, and then it's changing on a daily basis. So keep that in mind, that it is always changing. And contact me if you have any questions about where to travel and when. I have a client, just email me right now, Rob, probably ask him about, is he a test required to return to the U.S.? As of right now, President Biden did an executive order reinforcing the CDC rule, also doing a self-quarantine, which is hard to enforce, honestly. So, you have to be careful where you travel to, because you have to be able to get back and show a positive test right now. So I have to coach him through that. What's good is resorts and airlines are providing testings to keep travel going fluid. So keep that in mind. World Travel Map, check it out on Iberia.com. We gave them the source courtesy in the notes there. So check out that website, and they're updating it every day. So keep that in mind. Let me get back to my main camera and my main backdrop, and we'll go back to questions. All right, let's see what's going on. Jamaica. Sure likes Jamaica. Okay. Sherry said she's never had a vacation but always wanted to. Sherry had a question. Put the question about Antarctica.
Yeah, who's there first?
Can you put it again, please? I want to show a question in our new chat bot that Sherry just put in. And we'll show you. I'm trying to get this question new feature going so you can see your questions as we go. Doesn't work with all social media programs, but we can put it in our YouTube chat, and it does show up here. So if you're on YouTube, put a question, it'll show. There we go. Sherry Byers Langston, for ballpark, how much Antarctica for 2 adults? So for 2 adults, it's about $12,000 a person for the Antarctica and Adventures by Disney itinerary, which includes some lamb time. If you go to my post on Dave's Disney, Sherry, you can see there more about the details of the pricing, and I'll contact you one-on-one with more detail. Those lowest price cabins are going to sell out quick. This is a small cruise and really very few itineraries, so they're priced pretty premium. The Galapagos is about half that price, so it's about more like $6,000 a person. But everything's inclusive. It is a bucket wish trip type destination, a total bucket list destination. So keep that in mind. This is a premium product. Oh, Sherry, we love you too. Thanks for the question. Great question. All right, as far as other cruise travel, right now the cruises are not sailing but a few places. MSC Cruises did restart sailing in Europe. And I do want to check in one more. Let's see, the camera feed. All right, there we go. So this is our go to the chat camera feed. When I check on you guys in the chat. Well, thank you a lot of people for coming on before I continue with cruise travel. Janice, you're here every show. Appreciate you. Todd Johnson, good to have you on. Great question, Sherry, as always. Mark Lee, appreciate you. Tina LaRusso, thanks for being on. Sue Hildebrand, laughing. George Fletcher Jr., thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys at all. And some of the usual suspects. I'm sure Kurt, Zechel, and Jan are out there. We had a great Cruise and Tiki cruise with them on Friday night. They've been on the show twice. I even did my show from the Cruise and Tiki, so check that out. Oh, one note, so to find all my shows, Enjoy the Journey playlist on my Fantastic Endeavors YouTube channel. When you type in Fantastic Endeavors, 2 words in YouTube, I'm the first one that appears, the only one that appears. Check out that channel, subscribe to it, and like the videos when you watch them, and then you can watch every one of my shows since March are on there, so check that out. Available for your listening and watching pleasure. Great question, Sherry. So I want to start out with positive news. The other news is that I'm not sure when cruise ships are actually starting sailing, but I do know the major cruise lines have canceled until April 30th. So no cruise from North America until April 30th. I do want to qualify a news story this week in Barron's, who's financial analyst publication. One analyst said, not a cruise line executive, not a cruise line representative, not even a travel agent, said he doesn't expect cruises to sail until late 2021 or early 2022. And I guess it was a slow news day and he had a short cruise line stock because no one's saying that in the industry. So I just want to disqualify that article if you saw it. Some major publications picked it up, but it was just an analyst opinion based on nothing but financial information that he was just looking at and stock value. Nothing to do with the cruise lines are saying, announcing, or telling us. We know before you guys when things are announced. They always give us a day notice at least when they announce things to you guys, to the public, on their public websites and social media. So keep that in mind. But as of right now in North America, no major cruises until April 30th. MSC Cruises has not announced. I got a client cruising in March and they haven't canceled his cruise yet. So I'll keep you posted. But for Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Celebrity, Princess, Carnival, all those major, the big three column, they're not sailing from the U.S. until at least April 30th, which means we're going to go over a full year without cruising, considering the global pause from North America happened on March 13th. It's very sad, but it's a reality of them getting in line with requirements that they need to do to get the cruises restarted again. That's the reality of it all. The good news is I really think this summer cruises are going to happen. I do believe it's going to be cruises from the U.S., mostly the big ports, which is Miami, Fort Lauderdale, New Orleans, maybe California. Shorter cruises, they have to be maximum 7 nights. That's still a CDC requirement. CDC is Center for Disease Control. And then there are going to be some shorter cruises too, places they can control. Ports may close. I mean, right now the Caribbean's going up and down as far as entry. As you saw, only Jamaica in the Caribbean is actually available 100% right now without restrictions. So that's a problem for the cruise lines. So if they go to their private islands, so you may get a lot of private island time, which is everyone's favorite destination. So the private islands of the cruise lines are Coco Cay for Royal Caribbean, Perfect Day Coco Cay for Royal Caribbean. You have Great Stirrup Cay for Norwegian Cruise Line. And then Half Moon Cay is also a mixture of Carnival, and Princess has their own too. Princess Cays. These private stops are the favorites of the cruise lines. So that you're going to see a lot of those mixed in. Oh yeah, and then of course Castaway Cay for Disney Cruise Line. Port Canaveral, by the way, is another port you're going to see from because Disney has been ramped up, ready to go, ready to sail, but they have to follow the current requirements. So I think you're going to see, ideally in May, some cruises have to go, limited capacity, all the proper protocols that CDC requires, they're already put into place. It's just some other main protocols that are logistic-wise. They have to get going, they have to bring all the staff back from overseas. That takes time now with all the restrictions. They have to get everyone retrained on the new protocols, so that's what the delay is. I will say this current announcement was pretty far off, before they were short announcements. So I believe they did that to give themselves enough time to get ready for all these things they're going to do. So any questions about cruise travel, put it in the chat. Where can you cruise right now? Nowhere from the U.S. If you want to fly to Europe and get all your testing done and get all your permissions, you can cruise with MSC Cruises starting today, June 24th. They're still in the Mediterranean, very chilly Mediterranean. But that's their product over there, and they do a great job with it. So let me check out, mix up my camera angles, then we handle the chat. Hey, we're back live. Fantastic. If you have any more questions, please put in the chat. We'll show it to everybody else. Sherry had a great question, an unbelievable question about Antarctica and the Adventures by Disney product. I covered in the beginning of the show. If you guys ever come on the show, you catch it halfway. Don't rewind it. I think you can. Don't rewind it so you can stay part of the live interaction. That's what's key. That's why I do this live. I can do recorded shows, but I love the live interaction with you, my followers and fans. You can always watch the show. As soon as it finishes, it's available on recording on Facebook Live or YouTube. And YouTube, they're live right now. So keep in mind that. Go back to the beginning, watch the whole thing, and watch my interview with Skip Shear, our guest again, because he's part of my travel agency now, and he's great on the air. He's actually a radio personality. And then watch my discussion about our announcement about Adventures by Disney doing Galapagos and Antarctica cruises. They're not a cruise company. They're not Disney Cruise Line, but they partnered with Ponant, a non-Disney French-owned yacht collection for a very unique product we're very excited about. So hear the whole deal there. So where can you cruise in 2021? Well, that is a great question. And I believe it's going to be Bahamas, Northern Caribbean, maybe Bermuda. Bermuda is going to be up there. It's going to be out of the Florida ports are going to be your best bet. Now, I had a question in the chat about free cruises, probably from Sherry, maybe from Janice. And another camera angle to show you. Hey, our third camera angle. Woo. free cruises have been announced. The cruise lines don't want to do this. It is CDC requiring these sea trials with passengers. So they're basically making the cruise line run free cruises. It's just phenomenal, the concept of it. So Royal Caribbean announced it. Who's interested? 1 million people said yes, and nothing's been announced because they're not sure when they're going to sail again. So the main cruise hasn't even been done. So keep that in mind, that the free cruises just have not happened yet. So when they're announced, I'll let you guys know on Facebook. Fantastic Endeavors, Facebook like that. That's where I announce most of the cruise travel information. Dave's Disney's for Disney information, like that page too. Dave's Hawaii's for Hawaii. Why all the pages? Different brands of travel. I have different clientele who follow different things and different followers on those pages. Then Bucket List Trip is a page I'm building about just niche destinations. But any mainstream travel news goes to Fantastic Endeavors and sometimes to my personal feed that you're watching this show now. And Dave's Disney is Disney Pacific News, and it's cruising Disney, it's cruising Hawaii. It goes on both those pages. So keep that in mind. I also have Instagram for all those accounts too, so always follow my social media. So free cruises, I will let you know, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of calls, but don't worry. I'm going to show you now. Sherry's Bars Langston, can't wait, because there's now 3 of me. I have duplicated myself to handle the request for free cruises. Again, it's a CDC requirement, but CDC may actually lift that requirement. So who knows? Who knows? I just don't know. To me, it's a publicity stunt, but I don't know. But if you guys can get a free cruise out of it, awesome. I will applaud that any day of the week. Okay, back to the main feed. Hey, back to one Dave. So Sherry Bowers Langston, what do you think of the 3 Daves? Oh, and by the way, I do have the video backdrop working this week. Let me get this going. So here, hey Sherry, here's me kayaking yesterday. I didn't have a cruise video, but I just want to show you this real quick. So in the future shows, I'm going to have especially when you do the tours of resorts, I can actually talk about the tour of the resort and show you the recorded footage we did before the show as we go. So here's an example how it's going to work. And so this is it. This is Sandy Creek. And I did kayak yesterday, but this was actually filmed from our show back in October. Hope you guys enjoyed different backdrops. We are dialing in the home studio, reconfigured it today to affect our lighting, get our green screen dialed in, added a 3rd camera angle, and fixed up the issues with the video. Zoom, I know if you guys watched it, we had some drop frames. Sorry about that, but at least we didn't drop the show. I will now convinced I have to move to just a different collaboration program. Leslie Wiseman, welcome to the show. How's Teddy doing? Her son Teddy's ready for Disney. She had just a son in October, and he is dressed in any type of 100 Disney outfits every single day. John Dodig, my high school principal. Welcome, John. Marjorie Morales, thank you for being on board. All right, done playing around with the backdrops. Let's get back to cruising. And I do want to show you some things on cruising coming up here. Hold on. So what are the best ships to go on? Where can you cruise when they announce that, hey, free cruises are on, we're going to do some real cruises? And I believe it's going to be the major brands. They have the most hardware. And let's see. And here's one I have coming up in a second with Celebrity Cruises. All right, let me get a new backdrop coming for you guys. Although we're enjoying watching the kayak. There we go. Hey, here's Dave cruising. This is Celebrity Edge. I sailed on her November 2018, a fantastic cruise ship. Celebrity's a fantastic cruise line. This ship will be sailing when they relaunch cruises. She's too new and too in demand and too high of a price point above the average that they won't sail her. So your major cruise lines, Celebrity, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Carnival, they have so many ships. They've gotten rid of their older ships to liquidate and get some liquid cash reserves to survive the pandemic. And they're going to now be sailing their bigger, nicer ships. So look at the 3 to 7 night cruises are going to be the most popular, and look at these bigger lines. Some of the smaller ships may not be here. Smaller lines may not be here if this goes any longer. I know one line, Crystal Cruises in California, phenomenal, highly rated cruise line, is not doing well. I've heard some crazy stories about not refunding people or not paying employees. They're well funded initially, but everyone has a breaking point. So that would be an unfortunate loss for the industry, and I'll be very sad about that because they are an excellent cruise line. But I would focus on these bigger cruise ships because they have the spacing and they have enough passengers to fill it to make it worthwhile. They can sail at 30% capacity and still have a good cruise because they have so many cabins. So I would look at the bigger lines, and I can always help you with these because I am a cruise travel specialist, in addition to being a luxury travel specialist and an adventure specialist and a Disney specialist. And I usually cruise every year, haven't cruised this year. I did cruise in November on another ship called the Encore that I will show you in a second. And the Encore is a phenomenal new ship from Norwegian Cruise Line. And these are my pictures, by the way, I took when sailing on these amazing voyages. Let me get this other backdrop going. Hey, here's me on the Encore. Get out of the way. Actually, I'll block my camera so you get a better view at it. There we go. Hey, there's the Encore. What's up? Great ship. Sailing her inaugural. And we had a blast in November. 3-night cruise. Usually you get a 2-night cruise in the inaugurals. 3-night cruise. And that's when that also. The newer ships will be sailing. So if you want to book something through me or even on your own, or if you know other travel agent, that's fine. Just keep in mind, I would book the newer ships. I would book it. You can't book over 7 nights now anyways. And I would take advantage of whatever promotions they have going and definitely book anything, I would say, after July. I have some people booked in May. I think they may travel, but May is the first we're going to see travel. Everything is gone until April 30th. So that gives you an idea of some of the major ships out there. Let me get back and also go to the live chat again. All right. Excellent. Good point. Yes, Sherry, that is a big ship. Thank you very much. It's huge. These ships hold like 4,500 people, and this is not even the biggest ship in the world. The Royal Caribbean Oasis class line, which is now 5 ships, building a 6th, they hold 6,200 people, 7,000 with crew, and if all the berths are maxed out, 5,400 double occupancy, but if you fill all the triples and all the quads and the crazy suites, they can have 6,200 people on board, a moving city. It's unbelievable. This one here can have about maybe 4,000 plus, but wonderful ship. So the reason I'm showing you these backdrops and showing the size of these ships is this is what you want to look at. If big cruising is not for you, then you're probably looking at cruising later in the year. The Adventure by Disney announcement I made for these Patagonia and Alaska and Galapagos Islands, Adventureland and Sea Expeditions, those are later in the year. Those are not happening in the summertime. And the river cruise market, that's going to be very interesting because it's smaller ships, but they have, if they do half berths, they still do pretty well because of the higher price point. So those are going to be interesting too to look at because you spend so much time on land, you're not on the ship the whole time. In some ways, that will be safer. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, sure, wow, big ship. So these are the things to look at. And obviously with more cabins on board, it's going to be a little bit lower price point. So keep that in mind. Since we're checking on Sherry, I'll change my camera feed and says, yeah, I showed your question again. She's still sitting in the chat bot from her great question. Sherry's on every show. It's awesome. I had her cousin on twice for Pirates Cove Adventures. It's just phenomenal. So river cruise ships is something to look at, but the idea of Europe travel this summer is pretty suspect. We don't have many river cruise ships here. One line called American Cruise Line, and then there's the big Mississippi ships, American Riverboat Company, Steamboat Company. I book all these cruise lines. I can help you with those. Those are domestic, so those will be sailing because the restrictions are pretty limited once they also meet the CDC requirements. The big thing now is going on a cruise and leaving the U.S. and coming back and flying back is now you need a positive test when you return. But again, I know Biden did an executive order, a new president. I don't know how long that's going to stick. I really don't. I just, because there's too much pressure on them from the airlines that this is ridiculous. Now there's a mandatory self-quarantine. It's like, who's enforcing that? That's all I have to say. So cruise travel from U.S. ports, again, New York, you'll probably see some. Baltimore, I don't think so. Port Canaveral, definitely Disney Cruise Line will be out there. You have Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Tampa. Tampa, you'll see some cruises out there. But the biggest ports in the world are Miami and Fort Lauderdale. New Orleans, and then California, probably the big ones. Alaska cruises. What's happened to Alaska? Royal Caribbean just pulled a ship from Alaska, Quantum of the Seas. It wasn't because Alaska's not happening. They pulled it because that ship is doing so well in Asia and it has a contained market there. They're not dealing with the US or CDC restrictions. And that market's only going to sell to the Asian market, the Quantum of the Seas, which is done before. When that ship was launched, it was an Asian oriented-only ship. I can't even sell that ship unless you're an Asian client in China. So that was a weird announcement. They're not pulling Alaska itinerary yet. And hopefully they won't do it again. We lost the entire Alaska cruise season last year, which I'm very, very sad about. And, it's very unfortunate. So this year, I think Alaska's going to happen. I think you're safe to book an Alaska cruise. Anything, into mid-May, later May, you're good. I would stay closer to home for May. Once you hit the summer or June, then you can go into Alaska and then look into Europe. Europe, you just have to play it by ear. With vaccine rollouts coming fast and furious, I think we have some good things happening that could really show good in Alaska. And I got one more ship backdrop to show you guys. And this is the Celebrity Reflection. Check out that backdrop. Ooh. Let me mute the mic so I can show you guys. There we go. Cameras are not cooperating. There we go. So this is an amazing ship. Celebrity is cruising refined. They do cruising a bit different. They don't focus on kids programs. They do families, but they cater to adults having just a laid back time. Casinos on board, but no like roller coasters, no ropes courses. They just do cruising in refined fashion. And the Celebrity Reflection here is a good example. Like look at that backdrop. That's their top deck. Gorgeous ship, and as a travel agent, there's a lot of high volume in cruises, and I'm very fortunate to sail on a number of ships when they're launched. And I went on the Encore last year. That was awesome. In Reflection, this is 2012, and then the Edge was in 2018. And thank you, Celebrity. Celebrity, by the way, I must say, always does the best inaugurals. Just something different about what they do, and it's always an amazing time. So, another question. Let's see. Hey, Bonnie, can we get that last question in the chat bot?
Here's the last question.
Yeah. She asked for about MSC River Cruise.
She asked what?
Sherry's had a question about an MSC River Cruise.
Okay.
So we have a way to get this in the chat box so we can filter the questions and get rid of the chatter. And we minimize our chat box so it doesn't take over the whole screen. So things we're playing with. So thanks for your patience. So Sherry had a great question I'll put in the chat here in a second, and I will show you guys. There's a lot of different cruise lines, and they're all offering great deals, but who should you sail with is really up to you. They're all going to be under the same restrictions and protocols from the U.S. government and the CDC. And let's see here. And Sherry says, I've been looking for a river cruise. The MSC River Cruises, what kind of deals do they have? I live in Memphis. Oh, Mississippi River. Oh, I thought you said MSC Cruises. Yeah, again, Sherry, they're a premium product. So a couple things about the river cruises, the Mississippi River Cruises. They are a phenomenal product. They are a great product, but the demographic is extremely high as far as age. I had a travel agent friend, John, go on board, and he was just by himself, and he was just deathly bored the whole time. Enjoyed the land tours of each city. So just keep in mind, it is your grandparents' cruise as far as demographic. Bars close at 9 or 10 o'clock, and dinner's early, but the tours are very nice, and it's a great way to see the country and sail in the Mississippi. They sail numerous rivers, including like the Snake River in Washington and the Mississippi River and this other Natchez River and other connecting rivers in Mississippi. They are premium. The $5,000 a person is about the norm, maybe $3,000 per person for a shorter cruise, because it's a fairly inclusive product. It's a fairly small ship and a niche product. So do keep that in mind. But great question, Sherry. We do appreciate that as always. Great question. So those cruises have not started yet either. They'll probably be the first to start once they get all the protocols in place, because they don't have the international restrictions or returning from foreign waters restrictions that most cruise lines are going to have. Vaccines, by the way, are probably going to be required for all of these different cruises. So keep that in mind. So, great questions as always, guys. We appreciate you guys putting things in the chat. And then we're going to make sure this chat is not showing up as much as I'd like it. Let's see, I'll try to move it. Try to move it around a little bit. There we go. Try this. Oh, that won't work. Got the chat bot in the chat bot. I can't do it. A little bit of location for it. Things we can do, the magic of a home studio. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Thank you for taking a break from the football game. I'm going to get back to watch the end. This was our cruise travel update. If you're watching this on recording or think of a question afterwards, as always, put it in the chat. And I always rewatch the show in the evenings and in the mornings and take notes on everything I said and did. And so we can improve our shows in the future and add new things for you guys. And as always, put another question there and I'll get back to you then. Or message me directly on Facebook at David W. Hartman, or wherever you're watching this, I will get that message. Or reach out to me, 305-453-9208 or dave@bucketwishtrip.com. I will put my main map backdrop back with my contact information. Hey, see now her question stands out in that backdrop. There we go. Excellent questions though today. Appreciate the diehards being on board. I always appreciate the new faces too. And before I go, I'll take a shout out. Next week, we'll be again Sunday at 5. No Super Bowl. No football next week. But in 2 weeks, Super Bowl Sunday, before kickoff, wherever you are, wherever you're watching the game, I'm sure you're going to be home. I will be at Old Key West Resort in Disney World. Haven't stayed there in years. Have not covered it in social media in years. Going to do a full tour, take some video when we arrive. Going to show it all, do a full resort review. It's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be on February 7th. And it'll be a little bit of a Disney update, but more just about the resort. And about Orlando update, because domestic travel is allowed right now. And then next week, probably live from Keys Me. Going to mix it up a little bit. May come back here to the studio. Going to work on a live guest next week. Got a couple businesses in mind locally that I've talked to that are going to come on the show and meet at Keys Me. So join us for that. It's always a good time at Keys Me. We appreciate our friends there. Appreciate you guys coming on today. As always, like this and share it and add a comment whenever you listen to it. I always check our comments and reply. And appreciate you guys enjoying my travel show. You have a fantastic Sunday, and we'll see you next week.